It's week 7 of the Shore Conference high school football season. Kevin Williams and Bob Batters from the Shore Sports Network getting you set for this weekend's games. And Bob, it's real easy to pick the highlight of the schedule. It's Friday night. It's a battle of the undefeated. The number 2 and 3 teams in your top 10. St. John Vianney visits Red Bank Catholic. Doesn't get much bigger.
It doesn't. This was one of those games when the schedule came out, you looked at it and you said, all right, there's a good chance this is going to be a big one, and it certainly is. Both these teams played last week against undefeated teams. Both came out victorious. St. John Vianney, a 31-28 overtime win over Rumson in what I think was the best game all season, one of the best games I've seen in a long time. And Red Bank Catholic, 42-28 winners over Long Branch, which was also undefeated coming in. And that's set up this week, like you said, the number 2 versus number 3 teams in the Shore. If you're going to go, you might as well leave now for Count Basie Field in Red Bank because you know it's going to be packed. The last time these two teams played, I remember, one of the times they played in the state playoffs a couple years ago when St. John Vianney really put it on them. They had Anthony Brown, a quarterback who's now playing for Boston College. This is a rivalry in many sports. It is in football when they're both good. They are now, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And, of course, the winner emerges as the threat to Manalapan for the top spot once we get to early November.
Certainly, and depending on how well these teams play, will give us a good look at their playoff perspective too, because they're in non-public Group 3. The big dog in there, of course, is St. Joe's Regional up in Montvale. So if one of these teams, whether it be St. John Vianney or Red Bank Catholic, really has an impressive showing against obviously another quality team, maybe you start thinking, hey, can they compete? How far can they get in the playoffs? But just as far as from a Shore Conference standpoint, this is the game to be at on Friday night.
Top-ranked Manalapan took a giant step towards the A North title by beating previously undefeated Howell last week. Howell hosting Freehold Township on Friday night. Sort of the other two teams to stay within a game of the Braves. And, of course, Freehold Township undefeated coming into this one.
Exactly. The Patriots are 6-0. There's a little bit of an asterisk there because they did lose week 1 to Freehold, but that result was reversed after Freehold had self-reported using an ineligible player and had to forfeit that game. So, still, it's undefeated. There's a lot of power points to be had from this game for whichever team comes out victorious. And for Freehold Township, this is their chance to come out and prove it. Yes, the week 1 win loss got overturned, but they've really been playing well, in the 5 games since. And most impressive has been the defense. Corey Davies' football teams are always characterized by their offense. They did not have a lot of returning starters on that side of the ball this season. Their junior quarterback, Nick Reardon, has played well. He's getting better every week. But their defense has really stood out. Damian Rybeltowski, Eric Quarty, 2 really solid edge rushers and linebackers that kind of move them around there. They have the biggest challenge they've had so far this season against the Howell team that can put up points. Eddie Morales, one of the best quarterbacks, not just in the Shore, but in the entire state with what he can do inside the pocket and outside running the ball. We saw that against Manalapan. He had over almost 450 combined yards. So that's a good one. Howell wants to, obviously turn around, win the game, stay close for the, the odd reason Manalapan does get tripped up. Maybe they can get a share. But again, I know this game is huge for Howell because of the power points. Right now, Freehold Township is sitting number 2 in Central Jersey Group 4. If Howell can get a win, that's a huge power point haul, which is big for them. In South Jersey Group 5, if they can get some home games, they make those teams travel now from the depths of South Jersey way up to Howell. So not only does Howell want to rebound, this game is potentially monstrous for their playoff run.
In many years, Shore and Point Beach was a game for a division title, sometimes a state sectional title. They play on Friday night at Point Beach, sort of who's the runner-up to modern-day prep in the division.
That's true. This is a division that's been up and down all season. Modern Day is at the top, undefeated 4-0, but the Seraphs haven't been blowing everyone out either. They were close with Asbury Park in a 14-13 win last week. Point Beach, started 3-0. They're 3-3 now, really looking to try to turn things around and get back in the win column and get ready for the playoffs. Shore Regional, they've played well all season too. They had lost to Modern Day a couple weeks ago, but that's a team that, they're dangerous. They're going to run the ball well. It's a good matchup. To me, that's a matchup you look at just on paper and the way they've been playing. It's pretty even across the board. So we'll see what goes on there. Chris Weber, the running back for Point Beach, Hasn't played in a couple games though, so we'll see if he's back for them. Obviously, that would be a big boost for the Garnet Gulls.
2 games on Saturday afternoon we want to mention in Class B North. Middletown North, number 10 in the Jeep Store Top 10, visits Manasquan. Both teams 3-2, but I think probably better than the records indicate.
That's B North for you again. You know, we know this division is going to be a slugfest. If any one team can come out undefeated, which right now is read by Catholic, you know that's a good team. In the case of number 3 in the short for a reason. Middletown North, they have 2 losses, but both those losses are to, you know, it was top 5, now top 6 teams. They lost to Howell, which is our number 16 by 2 points. Scored 41 points on Red by Catholic, but gave up 60 in a loss. But again, that was their only 2 losses. They have dominated in their other 3 wins. 34-14 win over a Wall team that has played pretty much everyone tight. So that's an impressive win. Meanwhile, Manasquan, coming off their bye week, so they've had a couple weeks to prepare now for that Middletown North offense. Their last win was a shutout win over Barnegat, so that'll be a good one. The Saturday games at Vic Caboo Warrior Field are always fun. So again, that's a big one as far as playoff goes. Power points, both those teams, should have solid records by the cutoff, and a separation game really in Class B North. We know RBC is at the top right now. Where do these other teams fall? This will give us a pretty good indication.
No real marquee matchup in Class A South this weekend, but in what has now become an incredibly unpredictable division, you have Brick Memorial, number 9 in the top 10, winners of 5 in a row, at Southern Regional. And I mentioned the game more because Southern upset Brick last week. Can they make it a sweep of the Brick teams?
Yeah, last week really was the ultimate, you don't know what you're going to get in Class A South. And the Mustangs have been the team that is playing the best. 5 wins in a row, as you mentioned, Kevin. You look at that game last week, Southern and Brick. Brick was rolling around. Their defense was playing great. And it was Southern's defense that really rose to the occasion, and they got just enough offense to pull off a win there, and that was huge. Southern 1-4 coming in. The Rams were disappointed, hoping to certainly build on a strong second half last season. Hasn't worked out that way, but that team is well coached. They're going to play hard. They're going to play with pride, and that's exactly what they did. So now Southern 2-4, and they look at that Brick Memorial team, which is a Group 4 school and has 5 wins already, and they're saying, if we can somehow pull off a win here, we might be able to sneak into the playoffs, even with less than a 500 record. So really another monstrous game for both teams. Brick Memorial certainly wants to keep rolling and try to get the number 1 seed potentially in Central as a Group 4. And Southern, if Southern loses this game, the odds of them making the playoffs probably pretty slim. If they win this game and are 3-4, and especially against a 5-win team, the Rams probably have a good shot at making the playoffs if they can win out. So a big one on Saturday afternoon in Manahawkin.
And of course, you can't forget Saturday night, the big one from Happy Valley, homecoming, show it off. Penn State, number 2 in the nation, hosting number 19 Michigan, the first of a trio of brutal games for Penn State. And I mentioned the Nittany Lions partly because I'm a little bit interested in them, but 3 short conference alumni, Mike Gazicki, Saeed Blacknail, and Manny Bowen, all big parts of that team. A lot of people will be watching that one. You love the Nittany Lions, don't you?
In that game, yes, because I do not like Michigan. I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I'll be rooting for Penn State hard in that one, and certainly see our local guys. Mike Gazicki has played outstanding. He's one of the top 3 or 4 tight ends in all of America, which is incredible. We got to watch him when he was in high school. We marveled at what he did. You're always excited to see what these players can do at the next level. He has not disappointed. Manny Bowen has had some moments as well, as has Saeed Blacknall. So it should be fun watching it all go down. Hopefully the short conference guys make some big plays and have a big impact in the game.
They'll obviously have a little interest in the game, and I agree with you 100%. So that's Bob Batters, and I'm Kevin Williams for the Shore Sports Network. Don't forget, check out our picks on all the high school games this weekend, brought to you by Atlantic Physical Therapy on shoresportsnetwork.com. Hope you have a great football weekend. We'll see you next week when we preview Week 8 of Shore Conference High School football on the Shore Sports Network.